Hello, it is Gemini Jazz with House of Chiron, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about the Chiron placements, particularly where Chiron is in the houses and or the signs. So I'm going to kind of do it together. I'm going to do them together. The first house is Aries, so on and so forth. So just give a little background about Chiron. So Chiron basically shows us where our emotional baggage is, and most of that stems from childhood wounds and whatnot. And so, with some of the research that I've done on Chiron, we should look at the fifth house, which is your inner child, and we should also look at the 12th house, which is around the stage of, the last stages that when you were in the womb, so like the embryo stage. So we look in those areas to kind of determine what could have gone on or what could have happened within that time, to determine why you have, manifested these certain wounds in your life. And, to also help with your Chiron, issues and wounds and whatnot. So today, we're only going to be talking about Chiron in Aries and or the first house. And this video is the first of several videos. We were going to do a series on Chiron. We're going to go through all of the houses, um, and we're going to also discuss, how they manifest in your life, as well as how you can actually work on healing those wounds. So let's just dive right on in. I'm trying to keep this really quick. So Chiron in Aries and or the first house. As we all know, that Aries is a sign of I am. It's the self-identity. It's the initiator, and it's the same as the first house. Also your ascendant. So you will see Chiron and Aries manifest in the way of having issues with your body, your physical, or your mental, because Aries also rules the head. And so the closer Chiron is to your rising sign, the stronger you will feel that energy. So, say for example, if you have Chiron in Aries and you have Aries rising, you will really, really, really feel that energy of having, some physical or some, mental kind of issues with identity and having those wounds regarding that. So, because the first house is a fire house, of course, because it's an Aries, it's also going to show that you may hesitate on initiating things. You might not actually go forward with initiating things. So you might lack confidence. Or it could go the opposite way, because with Chiron, you can have things on that polarity. Either it's one extreme or it's the complete opposite. It could be either or. So you can see it manifesting where you have a lack of confidence in initiating things, or you move too quickly. So that's another way that it can actually show up and manifest in your life. And it also indicates that, with the rushing, you'll rush not only into, um, you know, just certain areas of your life. You can rush into all things, right? And it'll show up in that. And another way, because Aries is the sign of aggression and, the warrior. So you can also see that this will manifest into suppressed aggression and anger, especially if you have, say, for instance, if you have Chiron in Aries in a water or an earth house. So just say you have Chiron in Aries, but it is in the second house, which is an earth house, you will actually see that more so, because that is a suppressed energy. You will see that anger and that aggression trying to come out more, or you will see that it's kind of stifled and they don't have that self-expression. So also another way that you can see this, you'll probably see this like in teenagers. This is when it really will start. The pre-teen, adolescent, pre-adolescent ages, that people with the Chiron and Aries and or the first house will have body consciousness. So they will have feelings of not feeling, beautiful or attractive. They may also have issues with acne on their face, because it does rule the head. That Chiron and Aries will manifest physically, where you can have issues with having acne on your face, or spots or anything like that, even on your body. And how we combat this, first and foremost, anything that you actually struggle with, because just a little history on Chiron. So Chiron is the wounded healer. Through healing everyone, he was healing himself. So that is the energy that you have to give when it comes to your Chiron energy and your Chiron wounds and in the placements in your chart, is that the thing that you are wounded from, you have to actually give to others. But first, you must learn how to give to thyself. So one way that you can actually kind of work on healing from this is through having so it's in the first house, so it's all about identity. So you can heal people by helping them with their appearance. So for example, you can become a personal trainer. So say for instance, if you had issues with not feeling adequate or not feeling beautiful and attractive, and you decided that you're going to go to the gym and you're going to work on your physical fitness and you're going to work on feeling good about yourself, well, then in turn, how you continue that healing is you give back. So you then become a personal trainer, or you become a makeup artist or a hairstylist or something to make people feel good about themselves on a physical level. So that is all that we're going to discuss for today. But I will give you a little backstory that this also can manifest in people who don't have Chiron in Aries. I particularly have Chiron in Gemini, and we'll get into that a little later. But when Chiron actually moved into Aries in February of this year, I was having my own storm that I was, kind of going through, and it actually manifested in me in a way where I started to develop spots on my face. I've never had acne in my life, and I started to have acne. And I started to develop these spots along my face, and I also broke out with spots on my back. I've never had acne on my back. I had all of that happen around that time. And, it really showed me now with the studying that I've been doing in the path that I'm taking, that happened because I was having these issues with suppressing who I am and suppressing how I show up and how I want to present myself to the world, being outspoken and just showing up as this person that my higher self knew who I was. But because of life and the conditioning and so on and so forth, and the wounds that I have, because I have, Chiron and Gemini, and we'll get into that in a couple of weeks. But all of that manifested because I was going through a moment where I needed to break out of that. I needed to heal from that. So that's just an example that it could also manifest in people who do not have Chiron in Aries, because right now Chiron is in Aries. So just take that with you for today. And tomorrow we will I'm going to do a post on the different aspects for the rest of the week and so on, just talking about how, some of the aspects that are happening right now with Chiron and how that actually manifests in real life and how that's affecting us all and how you can actually see it, in the world and whatnot. So pay attention to that, and I will be posting that tomorrow. I hope this has been helpful and informative for you. Please give me some feedback. Give me a thumbs up, like it, comment, share it, and, subscribe, because I will be placing this on my YouTube. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.